life here can be as crazy as you want it to be. Sometimes it's very challenging to not get consumed with all the things that you have to do on a farm. You have to pace yourself and have a priority list. I think it's great to be out in the open, to be out in God's creation and to be in the peace of it. I have cattle, so I get to see new life being born in the winter. And it's very humbling to be there when a new calf is born and to see it to survive and to do well, and its mom take care of it in nature. What makes my life complete is just my family and God, and trying to stay humble and grounded and do whatever it is that He's called me to do, which I'm still working out every day. I was born in Plainville, Kansas, which is not too far from here. I grew up in Tacoma. That's where I would say I was raised. I grew up in the church. We went to church every Sunday. I feel like we had a pretty good relationship with Christ. There's definitely a time after high school where I fell into working during the week and partying on the weekend, and I really fell away from God and didn't have a relationship with Him. In my mind, I was a good person. At the core, I was a good person, even though I didn't do anything for anybody else, and I was really pretty selfish in almost everything I did. I was a good provider for my family. I went to work every day, and I was responsible in that regard, but I had my own time, and I really struggled with alcohol in a very real way. She prayed for me, devoutly for several years. She got very connected. It was easy to see the change in her, that she was becoming a different person. I was working on my relationship with God as well, but I kept that alcohol addiction. As I lied to myself, it's not that big a problem. It wasn't until I quit that I realized how big of a lie it was and how much of a problem I had and how much my life had been centered around that. I realized, the friends that I once had they were still friends, they were still acquaintances, but we really didn't have anything in common. There was a time there where I had to kind of relearn what life was about and what I was doing, and in that time, my relationship with Christ got a lot better. Once I got over the shock of no longer fighting an addiction, because there's kind of a transition period there where you gotta figure things out again. You become dependent on it, and it becomes such a crutch in your life that when you remove that crutch, you feel like you're going to fall over for a while. But after I'd quit drinking for 6 months or so, I realized that it was a burden on my life. It made things tougher. My walk with Christ and becoming a father to my children became a lot easier after I quit. And a pastor actually challenged me to lead a Bible study where I really felt the call, and I really felt that there was a purpose and that I was gifted in some area where I could contribute back to the church and to God. And salvation is not earned, but it's not until you take a vested interest in serving the Lord that I felt a connection. From there, I took a challenge to learn more about God, because I was leading other people, so I felt if I was gonna lead other people, I needed to know. So during that time of serving others, I actually grew more. It feels great to be believed in. There's so many times where you can get down on the world can get down on you, and you can get down on yourself, and to have that strength in your corner, to know that they're there to help pick you up. It helps to stay up longer, and anytime. I mean, we get worn out when we try to help people, and we see we just see all the hurt in the world, and so to have that person in your corner that will be there and help pray for you and pray for whatever you're going through, and to just share your heart for Christ and to help you in your walk. it's great to have a wife that has got my back, is in my corner, and we can do ministry together. We can, whatever we're going through, we help support each other up. If she's having a bad day, I can usually sense it and ask her what's going on and be there for her, and she's there for me, and it's wonderful. There's redemption at the end of life that has been bought and paid through Jesus Christ. I don't know the redemption. There's redemption from sin, the sins that we have committed, and the way that we choose. Sometimes the sin owns us, or we become so ingrained in it that it changes our life for the worse. There's definitely a redemption, and if we seek Christ, and if we're willing to let Him come into our life, He will change us. So there's redemption from the sin that we've allowed to rule our life.